Hello and welcome back. A lot of people left a lot of feedback on the Wallachia starting steps video, so I decided to continue the run at least a little bit, try and maybe form Romania. In terms of what we did last episode is we built really tall in Wallachia in the manufacturing, and this is kind of how we are expanding our economy so much. We are benefiting from encouraging manufacturing decree and large amount from economies of scale and little bit from the trade unions as well. And so these buildings are very, very productive. This is the best tooling workshop in the world, both in terms of how productive it is and also in terms of its profitability. It's the best tooling workshop. And so to that end, though, it's going to increase standard of living, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because it attracts pops. It's a bad thing because it makes wages more expensive. And so it will attract more pops, which will bring the wages down, and this will make the buildings more profitable. In terms of our government wages are based on an average. So as our standard of living, if it spikes really fast, as it did kind of over here, back in this part of the run, we will start to run a huge deficit. And so this is something to keep in mind. We passed a bunch of laws to make the migration easier, so multiculturalism, total separation, and no migration controls. And since we are in Austria's market, which was a big part of the plan, we are siphoning off pops from them right now. So this is kind of the current situation. Moving forward, we have to make sure we don't pass Austria's GDP, which, okay, we're only a fifth right now, so like maybe not too big a deal. But we also want to build up a military and find a good spot to fight the Ottomans at some point. The problem is we can max get 100 battalions, and so we will have to have better tech than them. I don't think they have the best tech, though, in terms of their military PMs. Let's take a look and see if we can look inside their buildings. I don't think, yeah, so they're not using skirmish infantry, they're just using mobile artillery, and so we are going to look to try and get to a point where we can maybe go military, so we're going to build one arms industry, and it's actually going to be a very awkward transition because we are going to not want to pay for our military until we want to use it, and then we want to go to 100. So we are going to go from 1 to 100 at some point in time. I don't know if it's going to be this episode, but we really have to try and take Dobruja, which will give us access to the rest of the world, because right now we are landlocked. We're going to take it on pause and let things go. We are trying to enact proportional taxation, which will make us a little bit more money right now. Kind of not the most important to pass. In terms of our interest groups, we have all of them in the government. We are nice and righteous. I think that... So I haven't taken a super close look at all these since like 1.1 passed, but it seems to me that oligarchy is, still remains very strong. You know, you get 100 authority, you get the same amount from landed voting, which is a change. Ooh, it's a change amongst all three of these, give the exact same amount. But with oligarchy, you get, it seems like it's pretty easy to have a very legitimate government, and it is getting political strength, a lot of it, to the capitalists. It's also empowering the aristocracy. But since we have so few aristocrats, just in terms of population, and their buildings aren't very profitable, these are the only aristocrats we have, and the wages here are really expensive, so they're not going to be very profitable. Sorry, these are the aristocrats. So the clout of the landowners is almost nothing. They would be marginalized if they were not in charge of the government, which at some point we probably want to change, but at this current juncture, it will radicalize a whole bunch of groups, and we will get a rebellion if we try and switch to presidential republic, because the petite bourgeoisie and the Orthodox Church also will join alongside them. So we're just trying to empower the industrialists and the intelligentsia as a general rule of thumb, and work on that. I think we'll add another government admin, or we will switch over. Yeah, we'll switch over to standardized filing system to get rid of this bureaucracy deficit. Don't want the tax waste. I want to let this tick up to where we have about 50% reserves before I start adding more construction. And the reason for this is I want to be able to respond more dynamically to something happening in the Ottoman Empire. Like if they go to war, maybe, or if the diplomatic play starts for them, then maybe we can just build those 100 mills and try and take a crack at it. I don't think our economy right now can support it. Right now we are paying for one military guy, so if we 100x this, right, we will be paying 37k. Is that right, or is that 3,700? Yeah, 37k in mill wages, but we will decrease it. So we can't currently afford like 100 stack army, and a big reason why is, again, the wages are based off the average, and our standard of living is quite high. But this is how things go when you build tall. It increases the standard of living, which increases the migration, because all these places are competing for pops, for laborers, because we have so many jobs in our tiny little one-state country. And so death and taxes, the only two things that are certain. We'll take the enactment chance. Oh my god, we're starting to get mass migration events. This is so good for us. This is going to pull this down and make our buildings a lot more profitable. Let's see. Oh, I missed what type of pop it was. I just saw that it was a pop. It wasn't Spanish, was it? But we still have some peasants. So maybe it's just a little bit of... South German is what we're siphoning off from Austria. It's interesting. Maybe it's Spanish that we got the influx from. But okay. Perhaps we want more universities. I think 5 is a pretty good amount. Just taking... We don't have qualifications problems. We do have peasants. So in theory, the peasants should come and help depress the price of labor in general. We are using labor-saving PMs, just something that's distinct from, for example, the China run that I'm doing, where we can't turn on water tube boilers because it would be profitable, but it looks like switching back would be profitable. I don't think we want to do that, or it would be profitable just because it's not fully employed. I don't think we want to do that. Okay, even though it's slightly more profitable, it's just very slightly. And here, if we switch to hand assembly, be a little bit more profitable. Okay, but we're just going to keep on keeping on. And just expanding the ones that are the most profitable. It looks like we finally managed to get dyes to a reasonable price. Before we were having problems because there weren't any dyes in their market, in the Austrian market, and we tried to import them. That dye one is inactive, but now we have a really high route, or someone has a really high route. Austria is importing a ton from Portugal, so that solved that, which is rather nice of them, because it was kind of our problem, not their problem. The industrialists should be really happy with this. Oh, they're not, because we're trying to pass this law that they don't like. Alright, I think we're just going to let this tick one more time. If we get another negative event, we'll pull off of it and do something else. I think there's still a couple laws that we want to pass. You know, private healthcare would be nice. Let's see, getting rid of hereditary bureaucrats would be nice. We do want to get rid of slavery. Yikes, I forgot we still have this. Oh no, wait, we got rid of it. And these kinds of things, so... But overall, our laws are pretty well set up. And we could build more construction, but I don't want to yet, because I do want to be able to turn a corner and build more military. We're going to add another one of these. And we're going to set them on smooth bores. Muskets. This will be petite bourgeoisie. Let's not add. I forgot. We don't have the rifling yet. So maybe that's going to be kind of something we want to get into tech reasonably quickly. I'm always tempted to expand the mines, but I think it's important to emphasize that the mines, they do get a throughput bonus from economies of scale, but they are not benefiting from our encouraging manufacturing, and so as much as possible we want to be building stuff that is manufacturing here, and we will let Austria handle the mines. And so that's the overall plan there. I'm trying to see, I really want them to have another war, another spat with Egypt. It's going to be tough. We might have to expand to another industry here, as this is starting to wind up. I'm thinking... I'm not sure what will be best. Furniture might be okay, because there's always a demand for furniture. The problem is always, though, we can't produce the wood ourselves, and we're a little more resilient in terms of we can produce iron and coal ourselves if something weird happens. And so, going for that. And another bad event. So we will come off this for now, which is fine. And we will try and pass something else. We don't want charity hospitals, really. Appointed bureaucrats. Ah, do we have a Republican in the House? Oh, landowners just have 0 clout. Perfect. Okay, we'll go to appointed bureaucrats. That sounds good to me. And we are about to complete nationalism. So I think our current plan was we were going to go organized sports and then go for mutual funds in order to try and increase the investment pool transfer even more, which seems good. And we were going to not research Conine. It is important for all the tier 2 techs. Or sorry, we were going to go organized sports. Yeah. So the more tier 2 techs you research, the less of a malus you'll have on tier 3. Same with tier 1 to 2. And so like if we went for mutual funds now, it'd take 5 years, which is a bit too long for us. So we're going to go nationalism first. But we got a little bit more authority, so we can put down another tax, which will come in nicely. And we are letting the construction queue kind of being a little bit remiss here. Moldova has declared us their rival. Now, I think that they just have a defensive pact, and they are in the customs union of Austria. So we do have to watch out, or we can't do anything. We would love to be able to attack Moldova, which is why we're damaging relations with them and also with Serbia. So that way if, Serbia thought we were damaging relations with them, they are no longer a subject of the old Ottomans here, so we will actually also expel their diplomats. And it will increase our infamy, but we can afford to take that. Meritocracy. I think we want enactment chance. We'll bolster the intelligentsia, I suppose. But this is actually good news for us, because last time we checked, Serbia was a part of the Ottomans. And so, if we can conquer Serbia, then that will give us one more territory, which will be nice. I guess we'll keep all of their manufacturing, but we probably won't expand any there. We'll just keep it in Wallachia because we are encouraging manufacturing here. We of course could encourage manufacturing in Serbia as well, but at a certain point it becomes too much authority to do. Now, this continues to be very, very profitable. I don't think we have shift work, so the economies, or let's take a look. Yeah, the economies of scale bonus is capped at 30 until we get shift work. And so that might be something we actually want to, change things up towards. We have all tier 2 techs research, so we will actually switch to shift work now, because that's going to be a big deal in terms of how efficient our tooling workshops are, even though they were the most profitable in the world, but they're still the most productive. They still make the most tools per level. I think that is how I understand that. And we have passed 50%, so I'm going to add some construction. We are going to run out of construction center levels at some point here. I just realized, because 20 is the max level. Big sad. Now, arms industry is not very profitable at all. We could just grab a bunch of loyalists. I think I'm actually like the idea of grabbing a bunch of loyalists, because we're gonna pass this fairly easy anyways. There's basically no opposition. We kind of want, like, our interest groups to cool down a little, because we've passed a ton of laws, so a ton of them are mad. And so I think this is a good way to just cool down. Increasing a bunch of loyalists will make a big deal for, helping out with some of these interest groups. And so I like that. We're not, like, in rush mode anymore. We kind of have mostly what we want. We'll add one of these, and, I guess just more of these. Wait, hold up. We're gonna put a railway at the front, so we don't get, messed up when these complete. Something to try and keep in mind on. We are subsidizing this a little bit, so we could turn on the rail somewhere, I think. Now this is affected by the entire Austrian market, so it will not make too big a difference in terms of when we turn stuff on. Alright. Let's take a look. Hypnosis treatment. Excellent for treating pain. Oh, so this is the best one? Okay. Fair enough. What is it we were thinking of doing here? We added more construction, and now we're, I assume, adjusting to that fact. It's a little bit painful, this adjustment. I thought we were going to be running a much bigger surplus after this, but I guess not. Yeah, we do want shift work here, because we're going to get this up to 51. Let's actually just queue it up to 51, and we can just add more stuff to the queue as needed. Rousing speech captivates the public. We'd love to see it. I think we'll take this. You know, we're not concerned about this passing at all, because it's only got a 1% stall chance. And again, same logic. We're not in a rush at this point, and just having a really powerful intelligentsia and industrialists will allow us to change to presidential republic, because right now, the thing is the armed forces, the petite bourgeoisie, the landowners all radicalize, and when they all pop out of government, it's a little too hard for us to pass stuff, and we get a rev. I think Austria would help us with the revolution, but I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I guess this is something you could save and load, and just kind of go for it, and be a little bit more aggressive, and switch presidential republic immediately. But I'm not sure exactly how revolutions work when you only have one state, is I guess my biggest concern. And so if we went to laws and we tried to switch this out, I think it will spike a revolution because it radicalizes several interest groups. Radicalizes landowners, Orthodox Church, and the military. Oh, but it's specifically him because of his ideology. Got it, because he's a royalist. That makes sense. I was wondering why it was so hard to pass. I should have used my eyes. Okay. I think we'll add another one of these, because running this bureaucratic deficit is causing 10%. It's quite a bit of tax waste. We will take this one again, because the armed forces are supporting, they are royalists, so I guess we want to kneecap them a little bit. Now, is it standard of living rising that is driving our economy, our income down? I think that's the case. The profitability of this also just tanked. We are dumping a ton of tools on the market. Let's see. Let's get rid of that. And let's see if we can export tools. Notably, we are already exporting tools to Russia, and this is one of the biggest things for keeping the price of tools up. And the UK is being supplied with a ton of tools as well, but that's not our export route. That is the export route of the Austrians. We could not make that export route, I don't think. Oh, they are also exporting to Russia at level 22, to Prussia at level 29, Great Britain, yeah, they're exporting to like everyone, the tools that we are making. We are making a huge chunk of the world's tools, it seems. And so, I think I'll take this off auto expand. We will just get to the max economies of scale bonus, and then I think we're going to focus on other stuff in order to try and make transition a little bit easier, if we can. Because eventually we are going to want to not be in Austria's market, or we are going to be unable to be in Austria's market, and this doesn't help out very much. Let's see, we're going to hit infrastructure cap pretty quickly again here, so we are going to again increase that, and then take a look at what laws we can pass. I think we can go back to, what is it, the tax law. We could even go, no, we don't want to restrict child labor yet. We need laborers. In fact, could we get women in the market in the increased workforce ratio? So most of our population or our work growth is not going to come from our population growing, but is instead going to come from immigrants. So we are actually going to go for property of women to try and reduce the price of labor in our market to make these buildings more profitable. And then, I guess, let's just take a look at which buildings will be profitable. So this won't be profitable at all, that won't be profitable at all, this will be 0.79, 0.62, 0.75. So it looks like Glassworks would be the most profitable out of all of them. So we could start a Glassworks industry, or we could just work on the clothing industry. Again, the tooling workshop will hit max throughput bonus from economies of scale at 51 once we finish shift work, which we're working on right now. But so this is maybe like, and so the point of this is like making us a little bit more resilient when we get booted out of the market, is kind of the main idea. We're also going to put another rail in the queue and not put it at the top of the queue, but instead put it like 6 down from the top. Ooh. That way we don't forget and get railed, as it were. And then we'll add another one at the very, very bottom. And then let's take a look at our PMs here. I think we can turn on, we already have rail cars on. Can we turn on market squares? We cannot. But if we start making glass, that's something we could probably do. So I guess maybe we branch out to Glassworks now. And we have property of women, which should, I'm not sure how exactly it affects standard of living, because the women are going to be making wages as well, if it increases it or decreases it, but it will make our labor cheaper. So, and that was pretty painless. We're going to go for proportional taxation, and we might even, can we take the industrialists out of government and still be relatively legitimate? No, not really. We can't take them out either. Oh, we can take them out. Oh, that's just Orthodox Church. I mean, can we take them out? See, we're getting an enormous amount of this from having the head of state in government and the head of state as landowners, which is really why we want to eventually go like presidential republic or parliamentary republic. We're just letting, you know, our pops cool down a little bit. Maybe we won't even go for this fully. We'll just take a tick or two and then switch back over to presidential republic. Mahara becomes the... I guess we should also be trying to watch the situation more carefully in terms of the Ottomans. You know, the problem is this alliance with France, and France is the strongest, so even if we got Austria to help us beat them up, I don't think we can fight France. So this is actually particularly unlucky, but we can conquer northern Serbia, which will help out quite a bit. Now we want to keep our infamy under 25, and just something, but for the most part we don't have infamy concerns because we can't do a lot. So, let's see. It looks like we will be taking some dirt. And Austria might just side with us anyways, because we're inside their market, they're more likely to join plays on our side. And this will give us quite a lot of infamy, but it doesn't matter too much, because I don't think we're going to have another way to gain infamy for quite a while, because I don't think this Ottoman war is going to be in the near future, so we'd rather just annex them instead of puppeting them first. Oops, I forgot we don't have any military, so we will do one of these. Maybe a little premature on that. And we will also add a munitions plant. And so we'll have a little military here in just a second. Definitely a little premature. Should have built the military first. And this is... What is that doing so bad? I think we'll also put the government admin at the top, because we actually want that to complete relatively in quick order. What do you want? You offer an obligation. Hopefully they can't protectorate us off of this, but if they do, or can, or do, we're actually pretty okay with it. If we're one of... yeah, we'll offer them an obligation. So maybe we won't need to turn up this military as much. We'll still keep it, because I don't want to rebuild it. We will just take the flat enactment chance, because this will be a pretty big deal. And we will mobilize our guys. Well, first we have to recruit a general. Oh, he's pretty good. And just defend the front and let Austria push. Okay, and they just back down. Excellent. Fantastic. So now we have a second province, which is quite a nice development. They have a couple barracks, but this second province, I think the biggest thing is not any of this, or any of this, or any of this for us, but it's the fact that now we can go up to 200 barracks. So this is going to allow us to fight the Ottoman. Oop, didn't want to do that. Yeah, well, it can be 2 for now. But we didn't want to fight the Ottomans we wanted to be able to build up 200 guys to fight the Ottomans. We will actually also go into development and turn off these PMs. That way we're not paying a lot for them, because I don't think we're going to be going to war soon, but when we want to go to war, we will switch that up. They're cooperative now. Interesting. Ottomans are embargoing. Resignation of government. Landowners have resigned from government. Fair enough. Which, of course, does tank this, but we can still pass stuff. Notably, there's a lot more landowner power as a result of the wheat farms being in there, which is rather amusing. I think that we do want to incorporate... well, maybe we don't want to incorporate them just because we don't want them to add to clout, because they do have landowners. It's a little bit of an interesting situation. I think we very quickly will siphon off pops from there into here. The government admins are actually nice. We actually don't need to build... we don't need to finish this one or prioritize it at all. And now we can do more trade routes if we want, or upgrade our institutions, which I think we're going to go for the institutions. It's not very expensive per institution. And, police forces, okay. We would want a better health system, I think, more so, but... actually, health system's not even that good for us. Home affairs, because home affairs is probably best. Some kind of home affairs. But that is a nice little development here. Now, if we could only fight Moldova... unfortunately, we got that thing going on. In terms of Dobruja... ah, what's this? They no longer have an alliance with France. So now, the fact that we actually have a bunch of infamy is pretty bad for us. Because we have to stay over 25, otherwise Austria might boot us from the market. But we might be able to fight the Ottomans. Are the item... wait, let's take a look at who's in on this play. Okay. If the Ottomans were fighting France, we would be able to fight the Ottomans, I think. But this is, so, maybe it would have been better for us to puppet Serbia in order to have less infamy, just to give us more flexibility, if the alliance breaks, to take more stuff from the Ottoman Empire. Because Dobruja takes very little, because I think we have a core or a claim on it, but... or something like this. I'm not sure exactly how to check that. But if we take a look and, like, we go conquer Dobruja, it's only 3.4 infamy. But we would also want to take Bulgaria, I think. And so Bulgaria plus Dobruja, you know, is 15 infamy. Proportional taxation is stalling out a little bit. Very excited for when this finishes, because then we will have, like, all of these buildings will go from a 60% throughput bonus to an 80% throughput bonus. And what is our current infrastructure usage? I think we need to up this a little bit. And then add at the back of our queue another... We have a paper mill. We'll switch to paper bleaching. I forgot we got a bunch of stuff, so... And we'll save do the labor-saving PMs. I guess that one's less important. I think we are prioritizing glass for now. And, let's see. Perfect. How big is our economy now? It's grown by like 15 million in this time. We do have to be a little bit careful because, again, if we pass up Austria, I think we get booted out of their economy, which we do not want until we have Dobruja. And even after we have Dobruja, I think we want to chill for a while. Also, we were approaching the construction center cap, and now we can build more construction centers because we have another place. So that's another big deal. I think I will not... I think I'm going to decrease military wages now that we have some military. Just a little bit, but they will employ up. Now see, if Austria or Russia were to join with us, we could easily take them. And so maybe that's the name of this game? We are making a lot of money, but we are going to be increasing our military by a lot. We're going to be like 10xing it. And so I don't think we can afford that at the moment, so we're not going to do that yet. If these ever become profitable, we'll start building them up a little bit more. I think we want the approval on the Orthodox Church. These are going to do basically nothing for us, because we don't have very many farms, but we'll take a look and we'll turn on PMs. I suppose making the fertilizer is kind of good. Vineyards are finally profitable, and we get shift work and proportional taxation at the same time, so now we are flying. I suppose this is at 21 right now, and we'll see how much that profitability jumps when they're just making more stuff for nothing. I think we do want to take a look in the military and see if... I think we're going to go rifling. Well... we want to see if there's a way for us to get ready for this. I think... rifling would also just generally be good. That's not spreading, so we can maybe hold off on that. A lot of this stuff does nothing for us in the immediate period of time. I guess going mutual funds now is fine. We are leaving quinine on the table, but oh, we could go realism first, and then mutual funds. Let's do that. We even have an art place, so. Ah, yes, much money. Much excite. Politician died. Who died? Oh, yes. This is perfect for us, so we will, before we were having a trouble because this guy was a royalist, and now we have another royalist. Okay, well, you know, Okay. But I do think we're going to switch to either presidential or parliamentary. I think we still want the authority. Nah, we don't care too much about the authority. We'll go parliamentary. We could go council republic. Trade union supported. Interesting. We're going to try and go parliamentary. I think that makes some groups more mad. It makes a lot of groups decide they no longer want to be a part of the government. This might cause a revolution. If this causes a revolution, we will have to back out of this. Alright, let's take a look. Yeah, the problem is our main place will rev, and we can't have that, so I guess we're not doing this yet. We really need that guy to not be, Why can't we reform like this? Oh, there's still insurrectionary. Yeah, so we'll not be able to change this until the armed forces change, or until there's a big difference in we'll go guaranteed libs. Until there's a big difference in terms of how people feel, or we will not be able to switch from monarchy to presidential republic or parliamentary republic very easily until the armed forces guy is no longer a royalist. Now, how are you doing on infrastructure? You're doing okay. We're gonna go you up to level 5. And add 10 barracks here. And keep an eye on the Ottomans. They owe an obligation to France. It's nice to see this kind of came down a little bit, but it's coming back up. Guaranteed libs will help with, if we had a whole bunch more loyalists, we could get through some of these laws. So maybe it's kind of just chill and get this guaranteed liberties. Maybe go protected speech for the text spread. I forgot to look at how profitable this building was after. Looks like the profitability didn't spike up that much off the throughput bonus, but now it is making 80%, so it's making a lot of tools. We are supplying a huge percentage of the world's tools. Number 2 producer worldwide. Is that us? We're the number 2, or this one individual thing? It's not a very good tick for us. Now, this is the most profitable, or it's not the most profitable. Ooh, what are we? Silk. And our Overlord will fix this problem for us as well, it seems, in terms of making sure that we have silk in the market, because I think he has switched to using silk as well. Don't want to make a trade route with the Ottomans before we declare war on them, so... These will take a while to get employment as well, so I want to try and, I think I'm going to do 30, up to 30, and then 10 here, I guess. And then switch back to building like more of this stuff. And then I will need a railway. And then something like this. So we can crank up the speed a little bit. How long have we been going here? Okay. And we can switch over to some of these, because we actually have one of these. Go to realist art and bourgeoisie patronage, which will make more capitalists. Alright, you know what? You got me. We're not doing it. Don't think we want to do that stuff. No. Don't want to roll that back. Restricted child labor would be nice. I think it only pisses off the industrialists, which are relatively happy with us, but private health insurance is pretty good for us at this point. Or actually, it's pretty medium, but we don't have to pay too much for it. Wow, was this ticking the whole time? We do want it on mutual funds at this point. I thought we selected something. Oh, we did realism, the plan of going realism into mutual funds. Got it. And we are paying a bit in military wages. It's not too bad. We will have to get Dobruja. And this will be a later event for us. Let's take a look at our unpinned journal entries. While we're at it, because these little bonuses are nice. We're not getting a level 5 building of that. Metropolitan Police. I don't think we're going to be doing that. So we can get the motor industry up to 3. I'm not sure if it can be profitable. These buildings currently aren't profitable because these ones are so profitable, it drives the price of labor up, so labor is expensive for these two. If there was an arms industry here, it would be more profitable. I guess we'll switch you to cannons because you make more money on cannons. Same with you. Well, we don't have a lot of people in farmers or laborers in agriculture or ranching or anything like that. So we have basically none of this pop in here anyways, so we'll just go, it's not for the poor anyways, and get the 50%. We get the Ripper. That's unfortunate. Alright. You know what? We're just gonna do some of this. Action. That is a lot of money. Not very stable, I don't think, but we will just, you know, do some more of this. And again, these guys are not using weapons, so we are going to anticipate that the price of the weapons will be roughly double the price of the military wages when we want to switch over to the nice PMs. So that's kind of just a general heuristic for like the PMs we have right now. For when we want to fight them. We're gonna hope that we can get in on this without France getting in on us. That would not be ideal. Armed forces are happy with us. Are you still royalists? Because we'd really like you to not be. We get private health insurance, very nice. Now, wealth is like really high anyways, so this will decrease this will decrease mortality rate a lot. Unfortunately, a lot of our pop growth is not from like having a low mortality rate, so it's from immigration. So we're not going to increase that. We could go like National Guard. Secret police, even. I like Guaranteed Liberties a lot, but we got slapped down when we tried to pass it. Yeah, most of the stuff is like where we want it. We would want to switch this over, but it's going to radicalize too many. It'll radicalize just enough guys to start a rebellion, and it's a rebellion where like our military is, so I'm not sure if they get the barracks or we get the barracks, but whoever gets the barracks wins, I think. Well, you know, maybe Austria helps us out. Maybe we just bank on Austria helping us. do owe them a obligation. We're gonna increase construction because this 50k surplus is just like too much. I understand we're trying to ramp up the military, but we're gonna max out here. And we also have a huge, like, opening. On the Ottomans. I'm not sure exactly how high we need to go up here. Let's take a look at their... this. Oh, they're having to downgrade PMs. They are struggling. What did I see? They had a play. There was a play. 4-2 watt. I mean, it's not super unprofitable. We can't subsidize because our laws. Can we import that? Won't be profitable. These can't even employ. Arms are just so cheap in Austria. No, it's that labor is so expensive in this province, is the thing. So this is gonna cost 4k, and this is gonna cost not that much. I don't think we can turn that on, because I just think we can't get the opium. Trying to think right now in terms of tech. I wish we were closer to trench warfare. I guess rifling we can go into, yeah, shrapnel artillery. So I think this will be our play as we go into breech loading artillery after rifling. Because, yeah, we have all the tier 2 tech, so we can just go right into it. And then, yeah, this will be good. Actually, we could let Quinine nat spread to us and switch over to rifling now. Rifling's nat spreading, but this will finish really fast. And then we finish Quinine, and then we do mutual funds. I think it comes out to being around the same time, just because you get rid of the malice here. Not sure if that micro is correct or not, but alright, we now have an empty queue. How are we doing on infrastructure? We could use some more. Kick one to the top of the queue. Add another 5 of these boyos. And then, I guess 3 and 3, and then another rail. Just keep on keeping on. Building tall here. This is, I like that this is holding steady and not getting too high. So when it goes up, it increases immigration. When it goes down, it decreases the price of labor, which is, like, obviously, it's a balancing, like, equilibrium effect. Perfect. Instant money. Yeah, these aren't super profitable, but there's just so much. Maybe we could decrease the price of the inputs? So right now we're trying to decrease the price of the inputs on these tools to make them more profitable. And then steel, we are making steel, so... And already they're more profitable. We should have done that before. A little bit of micromanagement, so you just... Because we don't really care if wood is cheap, because we're producing basically 0 wood. I don't even think we have any... No, we have logging camps here, so they're more sad. We'll switch over to sawmills and rail cars here. Why don't we take a closer look at all this and make sure they're using good PMs. No, we don't have Steam Donkey yet. We want you to use tools, because we want tools to be expensive. Same with you. You are. I think we already switched you over. Yeah, we're gonna switch twice so that we don't have the event thing looking at us. Same here. Rifling is a nice one. We will swap that over here and here. Even if it's not making them profitable, it is switching them to being privately owned instead of merchant guilds, which means they're going to be capitalist owned, which is kind of what we want. And why don't we do this until we get quinine, and then we'll go mutual funds, and then reach loading artillery. Yep, let's fund the investigation, catch this ripper. And then, how are we doing on winding you up? You're full employment, so... let's get you there, bud. Now, let's see, our economy is like 2.5x, that line's going like straight up. Let's take a look at their economy. If Austria has a civil war, we are just screwed. Because we can't rejoin the Ottomans market, we can't rejoin Russia's market because we're not bordering. If we... I don't know what we'll do. Maybe load the save. And so that's why getting this port is like so critical. Let's see if ceramics is better. No, it's not. Bone China would be, I guess. Open hearth just makes a ton more. I think we're gonna swap over with the understanding that eventually it's more profitable. But I think we might take... we will probably be cooling down on build and steel for a little while. And that will make up a bunch more steel in the market, right? Which will make... which will make this more profitable. Maybe we can't do it. Yeah, it's just too big a difference in terms of profitability. Maybe we will not auto-expand here and focus more on the textile mills. Going forward, what is your infrastructure? Okay, you're going to need another railway. I have one in here. But that railway will just... so I could do like 4 of these, and then I'll need a railway. Something like that. Maybe we should even be researching... no, we're gonna finish mutual funds to get more money to have a larger military. While we ramp this up. 200. Alright, have we chilled long enough? Does everyone radicalize, or are you guys weak enough yet? Well, you do all radicalize. Armed Forces barely radicalizes, though. So if we just paid them more, they wouldn't radicalize. Which might be just enough. Could also switch to protectionism or something. It's not going to make a difference in the short term, because we're inside someone else's market. But long term it might be good. Kind of like regulatory bodies as well. But for the most part, we're pretty chilling, except for we would like guaranteed libs, which will make our forces mad. We're just gonna do we get a few bad events, we'll just pull off of it again. Yikes. Why so unprofitable? I mean, I guess we could do this. It's gonna make labor more expensive everywhere else. And it's gonna make us pay more in subsidies. No, we're not going to switch that. -2 standard of living for lower strata permanently. What the hell? They request the enforcement of laws that allow police to detain women suspected of being prostitutes and lock in hospitals on the grounds that they spread venereal disease. I think that that's, yeah, inhumane. I am going to build a couple more of these in anticipation that we actually will use some of that. I think that, let's see. So we can add another railway then. It's roughly like 6 to 1 in terms of we do 6 and then we can add a railway. Something like this. Oh no, let's get you to 51. That'll be good. And then we will need... Do we have sufficient tax? Support another declared interest. But I can't declare interest anywhere. My kingdom for... Ooh, I can declare interest in a little bit more than I could before. I guess we'll go here. And we will finish this out. So we'll have 110 battalions, which I think might be stronger than the Ottomans. It's just a little bit. And we have a lot of money, so we're getting to the point where we can just almost turn it on. I guess we will up construction. I see. Just a little bit, because we are like reaching a huge gold reserve. Moldova became the protector of Russia. Well, now we could fight Moldova. Except Russia, we have good relations with Russia, we want to. But this means in one war we can take Moldova and a Russian piece of land for forming Romania. Maybe we want to get off of oligarchy as well. People want landed voting. I don't think we do, but let's take a look. 100 authority versus 100, so legitimacy from head of state and government. And this is increased penalty from ideology, which we don't want, because right now we have everyone piled into the government at once, and super legitimate. We could even just, like, go universal suffrage or something. Well, landed voting would allow... The big advantage for landed voting is we would get the landowners out of power, I think. No, they still would be in power, but... De-radicalize everyone. You do. Those groups are getting weaker and weaker, though. Well, the military should be getting stronger, actually, because we're just building a ton of military. But, I think 120 ought to do the trick in terms of the military size we need. Great Britain's improving relations with us. Oh, I feel honored. We'll add another government admin as well. Population is growing pretty quickly as a result of migration, mainly, which is helping to keep the labor price down. Doing pretty good on this. We're not capped, so if we wanted more, we could get more tech just by expanding this as well. I'm alternating them at the front of the queue and the back of the queue for reasons I know not what. Glass is getting expensive. Someone must have turned on some market stalls. Ooh, we're gonna do this. Now that we're producing glass. Makes that more profitable. Was that what caused this massive tank or what? Oh no, it's because we're putting into the investment pool right now because I don't think that they transfer pays for the universities or the government administrations. But I feel really good about having this second territory for these extra 20 barracks. Might as well make it 25, I suppose. And then you, my friend, you are such a good general. I hate to promote you because you're a landowner, but you are the guy. And then we will recruit another one. Danubia. Oh, we need a Balkans HQ guy. Okay. Balkans HQ guy, be a mountain combat expert. Perfect. Alright, so now we got an important piece of tech. What it does is, it will make for the most part, it will make our buildings less profitable, but if we take a look, it makes way more capitalists. And the capitalists are the ones feeding into the investment pool. So if we take a look at the investment pool at the start, it's like around 50k. It might wig out a little bit, but we're going to switch everything over to big, publicly traded. Everything we can. Not a lot of rural stuff for us to switch, but we'll switch it anyways. And then we'll come in publicly traded. Everything. We'll see if they would do better on ceramics or bone china. They won't. Yeah, okay. Can't switch over on that one. And that's not profitable. Perfect. Those can't be publicly traded. These are bourgeoisie patronage. So it was around 50k. Let's take a look at the difference. The transfer. And it starts coming up. I think we have to wait for Monday to get a big effect. But then we'll go into military and we will go breach limit artillery. Not as big an uptick as I thought. Well, there's the 10k. So, 10k is quite a bit. This, of course, the point of this is to support the military we are building. Now, I think we currently, yeah, we have another 25 of those in the queue. We will have 125 mils, and then we will turn on the latest and greatest PMs, and we will clap the Ottomans. Because that is not very powerful. If we look at Austria, Austria's probably going to want to help us as well. I think we should improve relations with France, so France doesn't join against us. Let's see, who else could join against us? The UK, maybe? And so we'll improve relations with all of them in anticipation of this upcoming war. And I think I will call it an episode here. So this episode was mainly just a lot of the building tall stuff, same strategies. We passed a couple laws, not too many. We got guaranteed libs. We will actually go into the institutions and, ooh, we can't even upgrade it now. So why don't we put another, we're going to want to put guaranteed libs pretty high. But we passed a couple laws. We also got a health system in place. We will cancel that boost. Law enforcement in general isn't as good as guaranteed libs in my estimation, so we'll downgrade that and get ready to put guaranteed libs up at max. We also managed to conquer Serbia this episode, which, okay, we don't care too much about this stuff, although it's nice, or even this stuff, and this stuff, which is, like, nice, it's not nothing. What we really care about, okay, we don't care too much about this stuff, although it's nice, or even this stuff, which is like nice, it's not nothing. What we really care about, okay, we don't care too much about this stuff, although it's nice, it's not nothing. What we really care about, okay, we don't care too much about this stuff, although it's nice, it's not nothing. What we really care about and eventually we'll incorporate Serbia, but we don't want to right now because that would actually give a lot of landowner clout from these buildings. But what we really care about is now we can build 25 more barracks, because I was concerned we wouldn't be able to do the war with just 100 barracks, although they downgraded their PM since then. And so what we will be doing next episode is once we get all of our barracks built up, we will switch the PMs to being good PMs, which will cost a lot of money. And then once we do that, maybe 3 months later, we will declare war on the Ottomans for Dobruja, which will give us access to the rest of the world, and also give us, very importantly, for forming Romania, a second territory. So we will need Dobruja and probably go after Moldova and the Russians after that. Right now, we want to play nice with the Russians, and we are improving relations. And the reason why is we don't want them to interfere when we go against the Ottomans, although I think that they have a rivalry with Russia, an embargo, so we might even be able to get the Russians help. It's a little bit of a risky war. Like, if France joins against us and we get no allies, we'll just probably have to back down and give up whatever they say. We'll probably, like, if they ask for Wallachia, we'll just, like, reload, because that scuffs the entire run. Also, we got up to the max economies of scale bonus in a couple of our places, or we're about to have it in clothing, which is very nice. So these are just producing tons and tons of tools. I was very surprised also when we looked in the market and we looked at the trade routes, and we looked at tools. So we're exporting tools to Russia, and I was like, oh, that's keeping the price up. But our overlord is exporting, you know, 2.3k tools to Prussia, 4.2ks to Great Britain, like 380 tools or whatever to Sweden, you know, 800 tools to the Ottomans even. And so we are producing a huge chunk of the world's tools, which is kind of like just the strategy of just building up the construction and building up really tall. Like, it's why our economy is going up way more than, like, let's say Austria's. Which we have to be a little careful. I think if Austria has, like, a civil war, the entire run is, like, scuffed until we get Dobruja, because then we can try and get into other people's markets. We will probably try and get a bit of a backup in either Great Britain or France. Then we can jump into their market if we get booted from Austria, or we decide to fight Austria for their Romanian sand. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to do the YouTube algorithm stuff, like, comment, subscribe. It helps out. And if you've been sitting a while, you know, maybe take a walk or something. Anyways, yeah, have a good one.